Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to Man Cave Meals. Today we're going to do something a little different. When we're cooking in the man cave, we are not always cooking with fire. Today we're going to make some classic beignets. So let's get started. We're going to start out here by getting our yeast activated. I'm going to use the mixer bowl for my KitchenAid. We're going to put in 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and 3/4 cup of lukewarm water. And I'm just going to stir that just for a moment to get that sugar dissolved. And then when I get that sugar dissolved, I'm going to toss in 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And we're just going to let that sit here for about 10 minutes or so to get that yeast started. Okay, after that yeast starts foaming, I'm going to put in some lemon zest. And I'm going to zest most of this medium-sized lemon. And then we got 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then 1 egg. And I'm just going to take my whisk and whisk all that together. And next I have about 1/2 cup of whole milk. And then we've got 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm just going to dump all that in there, and we're going to put this on the mixer. Once I have it in the mixer with the dough hook installed, I've got 2 tablespoons of softened butter, and I'm going to run this at a slow speed until the dough comes together. And once that dough comes together, I'm going to turn the mixer speed up until we have a nice smooth dough ball. Okay guys, that dough may not form a really tight ball, but that's okay, and you may want to add just a little more flour to it, maybe a tablespoon or 2 while it's coming, but it'll start climbing the dough hook. So I'm going to take that out of the bowl and we're going to put it on a floured work surface. Okay, I've got my dough ball out here on a floured working surface, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flour my hands, and we're just going to shape this into a nice tight dough ball, just like you've seen me do pizzas before. We're going to spin it and fold it in under itself as we go. And then I'm going to take this dough ball and put it in a greased bowl. I'm going to cover it with plastic, and we're going to let this guy rise for an hour or so until it probably doubles in size. Okay, I've been proofing this for right at an hour, and it's puffed up nicely. It's at least doubled in size, so I'm going to dump that out here onto a silicone mat. And this mat just happens to be about the size I want to use. It's going to allow me to roll this out into about a 10 by 14 inch rectangle on this mat. So I'm going to do that with the rolling pin right quick. I'm going to get that as close to a rectangle as I can without worrying too much about it. And then I'm going to use my bench knife to cut this into squares that are about 2 by 2 inches roughly. And once again, these don't have to be perfect, so we're just going to get them cut into squares. And we're going to let these rise for another 30 minutes or so while we heat our oil up in the deep fryer to about 360 degrees. Okay, we've let these guys puff up for another 30 minutes here, so we're going to drop them in the oil and let them fry for about a minute, and then we're going to flip them over and let them fry on the other side. I'm going to put about 4 at a time in here. Okay, and after a minute's passed here, we're going to give these guys a little flip. And let them continue to cook for another minute. Okay, and these have gone for another minute, so I'm just going to take these out. And I'm going to put them in a bowl with paper towel to drain. And we're going to repeat that with all of our beignets that we have cut, and then we'll be back to finish these up. Okay guys, these things came out just perfect, so the next thing we want to do is dust those with a little bit of powdered sugar. And guys, these are ready to serve. I can't wait for you to try these and let me know what you think. They're real easy to make. So until next time, this is John Setzler with Man Cave Meals.